The swim course at approximately 1 kilometre into the 2017 Ironman World Championship has arrived, and it is Josh Amberger from Australia who is setting the early pace. It is a hot pace. He's got about a 75-metre lead already at this early stage, which is good news for him and bad news for the rest of the chasers. On the women's side of things, it is Hayley Tura, Lauren Brandon and Lucy Charles that have a good lead on the women's race at the moment. But Michael, Amberger's out to a fantastic start.
He really is, and that's what he wanted to do. The interesting thing to me is actually this group, this chase group is staying together, and certainly that, as I said before, could hurt some of these athletes. You go out very strong, and looking at 11, 12, 15 minutes, the body can withstand. You can exceed your own limits at that point. It's what you pay for that cost later, and that will be possibly a dear cost. You do have in most scenarios a little bit smoother swim out to the buoy before you turn and come back, where it becomes a bit harder. And yes, that is Jan Frodeno right there in that front spot, Greg.
That's right there, Michael. Jan Frodeno is sitting in that second spot. Amberger's up the road, but a man that has a bird's eye view on it right now on the boat there is Matt Lieto. What do you got for us, Matt?
Okay, we're down here at the swim, and obviously we have Josh Amberger with a large lead off the front. A few other athletes are trying to chase up to him. Braden Curry's been pushing the pace. Jan Frodeno has been pushing the pace as well. Kind of the big story is who doesn't make that front group. It's being spread out right now. There's a lot of fighting going on. Most notably, Ben Hoffman and Patrick Lang absolutely killing each other in that swim, just beating each other up, a lot of elbows being thrown. But behind that, there's now a large established gap with Matt Russell coming through. He's in this group. We have Sebastian Kienle has been dropped, and he is in this kind of chase group that we're looking at right now. We also have Jesse Thomas is in this group, but two pre-race favorites, Sebastian Kienle and Lionel Sanders, have been dropped already. When Sebastian Kienle's had great races here, he's been with the main group to the turn buoy. So it's pretty early for him to get popped, but he's coming through. He's actually moving some places in that group, so he's going to be chasing kind of at the front of this group here quickly. You can see him on the left side of the screen in blue. He's in about third position in this group, but they have Okay, so yeah, right here we do have that chase group of about 8 athletes. This group is not great swimmers, but this is some of the big power on the bike ride. We have Cameron Worf in here, Sebastian Kienle, Lionel Sanders, Matt Russell, Jesse Thomas. These are all athletes that we'd expect if we had a 112-mile time trial with no swim to start. These would be some of the best cyclists here. But as I said, Sebastian Kienle, not a great start to his swim, but he's now gone through this group, and he's found clean water, and he's doing the best he can to limit his losses. No mistake, there's no way he's moving back on this group that's ahead of him. He's going to continue to hemorrhage time, but he needs to do what he can now to make sure he limits his losses, so he has a gap that is attainable that he can ride through to get to the front of this race on the bike ride. We know that's his strength, but ahead of him we have a large group of about 30 athletes that is staying pretty solid. We'll probably have another 5 swimmers maybe come back to this Kienle group, but all the main favorites besides Sebastian Kienle and Lionel Sanders for kind of a top 5 or possible win, those guys are up in this main group. But big story here is how big is this gap going to be by the time we get to T1.
Thank you very much there, Matt. On our women's race right now, Lucy Charles is right up there. We've also got Hayley Tura in there, Lauren Brandon, and also from Switzerland, Celine Scherer is racing right along there in that group as well. Daniela Reif, we can report that the two-time Ironman world champion is sitting in 7th place in the second chase group there at the moment. So our women's race is definitely spreading out with Lucy Charles at the head of the field, and that's no surprise to us, Mike.
That's right, and she just happened to that. Celine Scher from Switzerland just won Ironman Switzerland. She just did that. That was her first win. She won Ironman 70.3 Cozumel a couple years back. She's someone that races well in the heat. She's definitely someone that will be at the front up there with these women onto the bike as well. Her run not as strong, but looking at Lucy Charles and Lauren Brandon, these athletes, I think this is a nice little pack that can actually do some damage and get away. But we're looking at the Roca swim course. We'll be seeing more action from that, and we'll be coming right to you with this action. That's right, and here we are on the water, Greg, of this Roca swim course. You're looking at the women's race. This is that pack. We said that we have sort of a breakaway off the front, but in that pack of 8, a lot of talent, including Jocelyn McCauley from the USA, as well as last year's winner, Daniela Reef.
Yeah, last year's winner Daniela Reef is sitting in seventh position at the moment in that second chase group, but she's not panicking right now. Just like Sebastian Kienle, I was looking at him just, swimming along there, and he was doing, really, really well. But the thing is, like with Sebastian, he's such an experienced, athlete, and he just knows exactly what to do. And I think that, he's just biding his time at the moment and just making sure that his patience remains, exactly where it is. And I noticed that about every 5th stroke or so, he was putting his head up, just trying to navigate his way through and also keeping an eye on what was happening up the road. Now, Josh Amberger has gone out like, just everything blazing. He's just absolutely on fire right now. Jan Frodeno hasn't shown any sort of panic whatsoever. He's just swimming his pace right there on the left side, right up in that second position.
Well, what's interesting with Kienle was getting his group separating from the chase pack, getting dropped, you'll say. He's not just sitting in, and Matt mentioned this earlier, he broke away from that group, and he's leading out. So Kienle knows that he can't just sit in and let that time gap grow. He's asserting himself, and he's maybe not used to leading a pack, but right now he's leading, trying to lead that chase pack that's been dropped.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, they're doing a pretty good job. Our lead group in there, Josh Amberger is off the front, but our lead chase group is about 30 strong at the moment, but we can see some stragglers getting dropped off the back there, Mike, and that is a little bit of a surprise right now because they are having to work so hard, and I think that Frodeno is keeping the pressure on as Amberger now makes his way toward the turnaround at 1.2 miles into this course.
I remember we're only 18 minutes into this race, and at best case scenario, we've still got 28, 29, probably 30 minutes of swimming left. So looking at our course record of 46 minutes set in 1996, that's held for 20 years by Lars Jorgensen, a former University of Tennessee swimmer and Olympian, by the way. So we're looking at, that was caliber swimming. These guys are great triathlon swimmers, but they're still not going to probably be 46 minutes. Why do I mention this? We're not even halfway. I mean, there's still a lot of action. And as I say, with these athletes at this level, they, just about anyone can fake it for a while, and then you can't. Once you can't fake it anymore, you struggle. And so 20, 25, even 30 minutes, these athletes can cling in. But look at Josh Amberger from Australia. He has taken the bull by the horns, and amazing stuff here. He is just leading it out, getting that clear water, and really, really running for it. Good for you, Josh Amberger.
Amberger leads the Ironman World Championship. He has about a 70-metre lead on Jan Frodeno and 28 of his closest friends out there. Well, I don't know if they're friends or foes, but whatever it is, they are providing a perfect backdrop for us today and plenty to talk about because Frodeno there leads. You know that right in that group is Terenzo Bozzoni. You know that Tim Reed is right up there. Pete Jacobs is in there as well. They are all very, very good swimmers. And Frederick Van Liet is hanging in there. Timothy O'Donnell from the USA is right up there in this group. So it's great to see that all of our players are right up at the front at the moment. So they lead going through this race at the moment. These men are on fire. At 1 mile into the course now, Michael, Josh Amberger from Australia has done exactly what he said pre-race and during the week. He's going to go out there and leave everything out there today. Has he gone out a little bit too fast?
Well, you know what? He probably has, but too fast works for him. So I think he's probably gone too fast, but I think he can maintain that pace. So rounding that last buoy, looking at the body glove boat, he's going to rip around this only turn, the one and only turn. Obviously, you turn here and you kind of continue that second part, but it's really just one end point where it's very short. You're about 50 meters across. That's all you have to navigate. Maybe he'll slow ever so slightly despite his efforts when he comes through here, but then it just turning straight back. I feel the chop coming back tends to be a little bit more challenging to those athletes that are maybe, he ran right into the buoy, that those athletes that are maybe a little bit more on the rivet. They come back into the shore and they have a little bit more of, I guess, struggles, what we'll say. Right now, taking that turn, we can look at the time as they go around to see exactly what our leader has over that chase back.
Okay, and then also you can see that Amberger now from Australia is going to have to navigate his way back to town. Now, what we do is we look at the host hotel, the King Kamehameha Beach Hotel down there, Courtyard by Marriott. There's two buildings down there, the West Tower and the East Tower. Now, the athletes aim for the East Tower and one of those cellular tower poles up there as well. That will be the navigation line. You can see that the bump is happening in the water at the moment. This is really going to play into Amberger's hands. You can see how bumpy it is out there, and the current will be with it on the way back in. So that's going to be interesting to note as well.
And so, you know, it's almost like we're saying two different things. You're saying the current's with them, and I'm pointing out as well, the interesting thing is that these athletes that aren't maybe used to this kind of ocean swim, they struggle when that swell comes from behind. It's hard to keep purchase on the water as the water rolls through, but 50 seconds is what that gap is, 5-0. So these athletes making that turn, even still, I think what's going to happen here is you're going to see some people find distress as they make this turn. What a great shot, though, we just got finished looking at. Folks at home are looking at this, they're saying, what's it like to swim in the ocean like that? A lot of movement on the water, up and down, up and down. It's not so much of a crashing wave situation, but swells, movement, motion. That is very disconcerting to athletes. When you start to get in trouble, it just feels bad.
Amberger leads the men's race, but on our women's side of things at the moment, Lucy Charles, she is having the race of her life at the moment. Remember last year, she was the Ironman World Champion in the age group category. In 2017, turning professional, won her first Ironman in Ironman Lanzarote, arguably the toughest race as far as that goes on the circuit. This is the Ironman World Championship with the toughest heat, wind and the elements. So Lucy Charles right now leads our women's race. Now on the men's race, Josh Amberger from Australia with a 50-second lead, and the bump is going to favour him. Jan Frodeno has company, not like last year. He's also got Patrick Langer in this group, which is going to be a huge threat to the crown of the two-time champion here. So I would imagine that on the way back, this pace is going to pick up.
That's right. And what's it like down on the water? I know Matt's down there. We'll get down there again very soon to see what he has to say. Some of the athletes looking and saying, where's our American hopeful Lindsay Corbin? Last year she was 12th. She came in here and really has been top American in the past. Unfortunately, she's slipping off the back, the reports say, but we'll keep our eyes out for her later. But folks are always kind of checking in where these athletes are looking for. Really a lot of just disjointed groups together with the women's race. There's the two leaders right there as we're zooming in behind that lead paddleboard. But those two swimmers, aside from them, and that's Lucy Charles with Lauren Brandon right on the back. So Lucy Charles, a very open water swimmer, sort of tried for the Olympics in the open water swimmer 10K, and then Lauren Brandon sitting right on her, a much smoother pool type stroke. These women incredibly fast.
Yeah, I think she was in that pack. So Lucy Charles continues to lead the women's race here at the 2017 Ironman World Championship on a beautiful morning here. Temperatures are in the 70s right now. High temperatures are going to be 86 in town. Humidity levels are right up there, and the conditions will challenge our athletes, no doubt, today, as someone will be crowned just after 2 o'clock this afternoon as the Ironman World Champions. Will it be Jan Frodeno? Will it be Daniela Reef? Time will tell.
Time will tell, and time is all we've got. 25 minutes in here for the men, 20 for the women. Again, we're still actually 5 minutes away from the age group start for anxious viewers and interested parties back home. The age group men kicking off at 7:05, and the women age group athletes at 7:20. So still a lot of action to unfold here. But looking, and again, this is another nice shot. We can see the texture of the water. It's smooth relative to a terrible crashing wave type of day, but this is a lot of movement, a lot of swell coming in from behind. This is when the athletes say, hey, you know what? Can I maintain that? Can I stay on? Can I be in this position that I want to be in?
27 athletes in our lead group here, chasing down our leader at the moment. This is Josh Amberger, the leader. Now look at that. It is 27 strong.
That's half the field right there, Greg, in that front pack. And we know that Keenley got spit out the back of that, so another contender off the back.
Rookie professional athlete on our women's competition, Lucy Charles from the UK, Ironman Lanzarote winner in 2017, leads our World Championship at the moment from Lauren Brandon from the USA. These two women are two of the greatest swimmers that Ironman Triathlon has ever seen. Lauren Brandon has normally been doing the charge at the front in all of the other Ironman races, but now, just turning 24 years old from the UK, Lucy Charles is a new face on the scene. She
sure is, and you know, she came in here, this is only her 4th Ironman. She jumped right in and did Ironman Lanzarote and got 3rd, and that was last year. This year she went to the Ironman European Championship at Frankfurt and just really took charge. She got out there and only got beaten by Sarah Crowley from Australia on that run. Her best run is 3:13. She produced that in Frankfurt on a pretty mild day. So obviously for her to maintain, she's going to need to maintain kind of a top position. She's going to really need to develop that run as she goes into this Ironman Kona course. But right now, Lauren Brandon, another athlete who has no lack of experience at the front of these events. She was first out of the water overall in Ironman Mont Tremblant in Canada in August, and that includes she made up the time gap, caught the men, and left the water before them. So an incredible swimmer and overall athlete. But these two women at the halfway point, Greg.
Oh boy, Michael, they have stretched it out. I would imagine it's going to be well over 2-minute lead as they get out to that turn point at 1.2 miles for our chasers in our women's field. Looks like Hayley Chura is just approaching that buoy now that make that right turn, but 4th place is going to be approaching about that 2-minute mark. So, you know, looking at the gap at the moment, it is well over 1 minute for our two leaders in the women's race at the moment. However, our chasers, Daniela Reef, sitting in about 6th or 7th place at the moment. There is a group of about 8 women that sit in about that 4th to 12th place at the moment.
I mean, and it's a good spot to be in. They haven't lost that much time. 110 is how far back 3rd place is right now.
So as our women have gone around our turnboat at the moment, they are on the way back to town. Yes, less than 1.1 miles to swim. Hayley Chura is chasing in 3rd place there. We've got Lauren Brandon and Lucy Charles looking at a swim on the way back. Now we're coming up to about just over 1 kilometre swim in our men's race. Josh Amberger has now made his way back to 1 kilometre to go. He's got around about a 75 to 100 metre lead, so that's out just over 1 minute at the moment. But it is Nick Castellane from Australia with his training partner. That is none other than Jan Frodeno, our defending champion, sitting in 3rd and 2nd positions respectively.
Yeah, that's right, and he's also a guy that you've got to watch out for, having just won his first Ironman recently, and he did that at Switzerland as well, along with Celine Scherer. So Nick Castellane, he took down that title, and he's a talented guy, great training partner. I mean, you can become famous for whom you keep company, with whom you keep company. But Greg, if you look at the odd-shaped building, and folks, viewers back home, you see that Royal Kona, that hotel with the shape to it, the white building with the curve. That's a K to go in the race. So that's when you have 1,000 meters left. When you see that part, athletes can look across and notice that they're sort of just inside that final stretch. These yellow buoys were yellow buoys all the way back, Greg, where on the way out we did have one buoy, but these are yellow buoys indicating that line back. Josh Amberger still out front. Does that matter late in the game? No. Does that give him a massive confidence hit that say, hey, I just swam away from the best of the best? I would have to say yes.
I just need to make this comment, Michael, and it's interesting to note here that Jan Frodeno and Nicholas Castellane from Australia there have taken an outside route on the way back into town here. Amberger's swimming along the buoy line. That means that he is swimming the quickest